In 1975, the Boston Red Sox seemed to be a team of destiny. In a season they were not expected to make the playoffs, the Sox won the American League East Division by 4.5 games. In the ALCS, they swept the three-time defending World Series champion Oakland Athletics. And in the World Series, they were evenly matched with one of the best lineups in the history of baseball, Cincinnati's Big Red Machine. For a franchise that hadn't won a World Series title in 57 years, it certainly looked as if the 1975 Red Sox were destined for greatness. But in the blink of an eye, destiny can turn into what if.
It's easy to second guess.
Something about that home run that made you wonder, uh-oh.
I think a break here and there is going to decide these things.
The irony of baseball is unbelievable.
It was emotionally up and down.
I don't know if we're going to have a winner when it's all over.
I remember sitting in my locker and I had no idea how to react.
In the second edition of this two-part series, we take a closer look at the epic conclusion of the 1975 World Series and how it will live in the hearts of baseball fans forever. That's next on the Red Sox Report, presented by CVS Pharmacy. The final two games of the 75 series would be played at Fenway Park. But when the two teams returned to Boston, they were greeted with harsh New England weather, and Game 6 would have to wait.
The rain delay was actually 4 days. It was a travel day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Bowie Kuhn, then the baseball commissioner, he didn't want to go up against this new thing called Monday Night Football. It just was in its second or third year, maybe fourth year. So he decided to take the extra day and have Game 6 delayed until the Tuesday.
It was so many days of rain, and it was a nor'easter, and it kept on, coming in and clogging things up.
Yeah, the rain threw a wrench in it all.
I asked for it after Game 5. I said that only way we're going to win this series is if we have 3 days of rain.
Why did you ask for the rain?
Why did I ask? Because I knew Tiant needed rest.
Louis Tiant was coming off a Game 4 performance in which he had thrown 163 pitches in a 5-4 Sox win. As the scheduled Game 6 starter, Bill Lee knew the extra rest would prepare Tiant to start in Game 7. But due to the extended break, Sox manager Darryl Johnson now had the flexibility to alter his rotation. Johnson decided to bump Bill Lee to Game 7 in favor of Louis Tiant in Game 6.
Bill Lee was kind of upset because he wanted to pitch. He was his turn. I don't have nothing against that because if he do it to me, I'd be mad too.
That was my start. I was ahead. That was my start.
The manager, he's the one that making the decision. And he said, no, I want you to pitch.
If I start Game 6, then he starts Game 7. If I win Game 6 and throw the way I did, I win Game 6 easy. Then he comes out Game 7, another day's rest. We may win that ball game. I just felt bad that that was my game. I will always look about it that Game 6 was my game. Game 7 was Louis' game.
The decision to start Tiant was made, and on October 21st, 1975, the weather had improved and the stage was finally set for Fenway Park to host Game 6 of the World Series.
When the dawn came on the day of the World Series game, that Tuesday, it was a beautiful, beautiful fall day. Beautiful sky, beautiful, nearly a full moon that night when they began to play that game. And when they began to play that game, nobody in the world, no baseball fan, nobody knew what was coming. Arguably, the greatest World Series game ever played.
And hopefully for the Red Sox, so is Louis Tiant, who needs the victory tonight. The Red Sox do to avoid elimination in the last time.
On a cool October night, the Reds came into Fenway Park for Game 6, leading the series 3-2. With their backs against the wall, the Sox were ready to fight, and Fred Lynn set the tone for what would be a historic night.
2 down, bottom of the first inning. And there's a high fly ball deep to right field. Going back, Griffey, forget it. It's gone.
The first inning, we got two guys on, and I was the most surprised guy in the world where I hit that ball. I mean, I hit it 20 rows over the bullpen. That's a bomb.
And this place is rocking. And Tony, the words just out of your mouth. Fred Lynn got the rest, and he hit the deep home run in the bleachers.
It was a big shot in the arm for us because we needed to win. We're down 3-2. Got the crowd in it right away. So it was a nice start for us.
With an early lead, the pressure was put on Cincinnati's lineup to produce some offense. But Louis Tiant continued to look sharp as he took a shutout into the 5th inning.
But in foul territory, makes the catch, and the side is retired. The Reds lead 2.
And I think in that game, I should win that game better than the other 2 games before. Just make a couple mistakes and they made me pay. Hanging a couple pitch.
Rose lines a base hit to center field.
And one to Griffin and hit the wall on the left field, left center field.
But the pitch that Tiant hung almost cost the Sox more than just 2 runs.
And a fly ball deep to center field. Lynn going way back.
I'm tracking it, and I know the wall's there. Now, for those of the fans that don't remember, it was just concrete. There was no padding, no nothing. It was about 12 feet of concrete. So I was running out of room. I knew I was running out of room, but I thought I could still get there. It was going to be close, and I just ran out of real estate.
Way back, and he can't make the play. It's off the wall. Evans will recover, and Lynn is not up. He has been shaken up. 1 run comes in. Here comes Rose with the 2nd run, and Freddie Lynn is hurt in the corner in the dead center field. He must have hit his head against that wall, and he is really shaken up.
I really thought I'd broken my back because when I was laying there, everybody thought I was knocked out, but I was fully conscious. I knew what was going on, but I had no feeling from the waist down. It was all gone. So I was pretty scared.
And I've never heard Fenway Park as silent as it is right now.
The manager, DJ, came out, and the trainer came out, and they were asking me, and they were talking to me.
Your leg's all right, huh? I'll be okay. Sure? Yeah.
I was able to stay in the game.
Resiliency would be something the Red Sox needed if they wanted to win Game 6.
And there's a line drive, left field.
Tiant would let up 3 runs in the 5th, 2 more in the 7th, and an insurance run for the Reds in the 8th, giving Cincinnati a 6-3 lead.
Well hit right field, that ball. If it's fair, she's gone. It is a fair ball. Home run for Geronimo.
The window was closing for the Sox, and the Reds were only 4 outs away from winning the World Series.
You're ready now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You sure?
You got first and second, nobody out. Let's go to work.
Now it's Bernie Carbo. Carbo, one time the #1 draft choice of the Cincinnati Reds. You heard it before, but that's the irony of this game. He was drafted before Johnny Bench.
He comes up to bat, 2 runners on, 3 runs down, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. The Reds on the verge of taking that title and going back to Cincinnati with another World's Championship in their pocket.
For the first 6 pitches of the at-bat, it was clear that Carbo was overmatched by Reds closer Raleigh Eastwick.
Right.
So you get Bernie Carbo, big league player, pinch hitter extraordinaire. He had the worst swing ever taken by a major league player and just barely fouled the ball off.
2-2 pitch. Just did get a piece of it to stay alive.
And then all of a sudden, bang.
Deep center field, way
The next swing, bang, the best swing a big league player could ever take.
back. We're tied up.
Out into the night, a line shot right over the pitcher's head, home run. Crazy time at Fenway. Game tied.
They are alive.
It was Bernie Carbo's 2nd pinch hit home run of the series, and that momentum carried the Sox into the bottom of the 9th. The Red Sox were able to load the bases with no one out, and a Game 7 appeared to be all but guaranteed.
It's all right here, Joe. Here it is.
We thought the game was over. Everybody thought the game was bases loaded, nobody out. I mean, somebody on our club is going to hit the ball somewhere to score a run.
Here it is.
High fly ball, left field.
Foster's got a shot. They're tagging up at third.
Don Zimmer, the third base coach for the Red Sox then, is yelling, trying to be heard over the din of the crowd to Doyle, no, no. Denny Doyle, we find out later, thinks he hears Zimmer saying, go, go. He takes off for home.
Here comes the throw. It is in time.
So your Doyle, your instincts, you don't run on that ball. I don't care how bad his arm is. That's only a 180-foot throw. You know, that was terrible.
I don't know if it's the best throw he ever made in his life, but under the circumstances, it was pretty special because he throws a one-hopper, you know, and Denny Doyle's out by 8 feet.
Ooh, boy, that let the air out of the stadium. I felt brutal. I mean, that's what you live for, you know, in those situations, and I felt like I just let everybody down. It's like, oh, man.
Swung on a bouncing ball. Pete Rose has it. The throw to first in time. And now we go into extra innings.
Bases loaded. Red Sox don't score. Red Sox history of fans in Red Sox Nation is, oh, it's over now for us. I mean, that's just the way we used to be.
But little did the Red Sox fans know that even though the game was going into extra innings, the night was just beginning.
Well, Dick, there'll be many, many plays to be talked about in this game, this sixth game. A tremendous, tremendous ball game, a brand new ball game. This crowd has been up and down like a yo-yo all night long, just playing on the emotions.
The drama of how the game flowed. 3-0 Boston, 3-3. 6-3 Reds. And then Bernie Carbo with the big 3-run home run. Back and forth it went. And this was an elimination game for, you know, the Red Sox. They lose and they go home. And now they go into the extra innings.
After a stalemate in the 10th inning, the Reds showed signs of life in the 11th. And facing such a potent offense, the Red Sox would need to rely on their defense to keep them in the game.
So there's one away. Here is Joe Morgan, 5 for 22.
Great plays are made before they happen. They're made in your mind. And this play, for me, was already made.
Well hit, right field, deep. Evans is going back.
Joe Morgan lines a shot into right field. Destined for the right field grandstand and a home run. And probably a game-winning home run.
If Dwight doesn't make that play, the game's over.
What happened is the ball actually got behind me. Usually when a left-hander hits a ball to the right fielder or to the left fielder and hits it at the player, the ball will start curving towards the line. Well, Morgan hit this ball and he had backspin on it, so I turned to my left, kind of drifting towards the line. The ball never moved, it stayed straight. I actually jumped up.
Back near the wall and, oh, what a catch he made!
And I actually lost the ball from here. I caught the ball behind my head. So if you people can understand what that's like to lose a ball, it's usually supposed to stay in front of you, but I lost it for a good 3 feet. And it went in my glove, and no one was happier than me.
And then he had the smarts to figure out, hey, double off the guy at first, and phew, he whips it in.
What a catch by Dwight Evans, and it's a double play.
The night had turned into morning, and still no winner had emerged. No one could have predicted the back-and-forth nature of Game 6. But what was even more unexpected was how the game would end.
Here's Fisk.
But here's the bottom of the 12th inning, and Carlton Fisk is the leadoff hitter. And, you know, you don't necessarily anticipate a boom, a dramatic moment right then. You know, you hope Fisk gets on. Yeah, that's what you're thinking about. He's the first. People are now settling into the bottom of the 12th inning.
I just was on the deck circle talking to Fred. I said, Freddie, I don't know why I said it, but I said, Fred, I'm going to hit one off the wall. Drive me in.
And it seems now, sitting there in my memory, that it was in slow motion, that it happened in slow motion.
There it goes, the long drive. And if it stays fair,
I hit the ball up there, the ball started drawing. And so that's why I started yelling at it. They listened a little bit, I guess.
And it was the whole body language moment when he stepped away from the plate and started wishing the ball, you know, that it stay fair. That was, you know, even again as a baseball fan, I have a couple of really close friends of mine who were lifetime Reds fanatics, and they still remember that moment, you know, for the pure poetry that it is, which is, you know, this guy wishing the ball fair.
We will have a seventh game in this 1975 World Series.
Hallelujah chorus being played, 12:30 in the morning. People are just celebrating.
And then I saw in the game, the TV, he hit the home run, and I jumping out of the water pool. I had my jack, and I'm running out to the field.
The sixth game topped off by your home run. It's some fantastic feeling for you, I'm sure.
Well, not only the home run, but probably had to be one of the best played, not only World Series game, but the best played game that has been seen in a long time. We were down 6-3, and of course Bernie Carbo picked us up. Had a great effort from everybody on our pitching staff. I just happened to get a ball. I didn't know it was going to be fair or foul. I knew if it was fair, it was out of here.
It was at that moment that the 1975 World Series cemented itself as one of the best of all time. The series played to the emotions of baseball fans everywhere and reminded millions why they love the game.
He took one step, knew it was going to be close, he knew it was gone, and it was dancing in the streets all the way around.
But even more impressive than that, there was still one more game to play.
It's almost a shame that one of you two guys in your teams will have to lose a World Series in 1975.
There's one thing about it, Tony. I think a break here and there is going to decide these things. Either team could have won last night as they could have 3 or 4 of the other ball games.
Game 7 was another tightly played game, and a young Sox team got on the board first by showing discipline at the plate.
Ball 4. Another run across. Red Sox lead 3-0.
And in a game that the Sox looked to be in control, it would all change with one pitch, Bill Lee's eephus pitch. The eephus pitch was a slower variation of Lee's curveball, and much like a changeup, it was used to disrupt the timing of hitters.
Perez was unpredictable. You know, they say don't throw him off speed stuff. Well, my fastball was off speed stuff. So what am I supposed to do, not throw him anything?
I made the curveball call because we had struck Tony out earlier on the curveball. It was a good pitch, it was down, it broke, and it broke out of the strike zone. In my mind, this is what we're trying to do the next time.
There's his blooper pitch, there it is. A high drive, he's waiting for that one. That one is gone over everything.
There's a moment when that eephus pitch in Game 7 is up in the air and Tony Perez is cocking his bat, and you just go, oh no, why'd you throw this pitch now?
What made me throw it?
What'd you think about it?
Because I gotten him out before. I've gotten everybody out before, out of a windup. If you throw it and get it down, you can't hit it out. You can't hit it anywhere but off your foot. The one that Perez hit was a hanger. It was terrible.
That was a tape measure home run as the Cincinnati fans come alive. He almost looked like he was waiting for it.
Sure, I regret throwing the pitch. But I regret more Game 2. I regret that I closed that game or was supposed to close that game. I regret that we didn't turn the double play. There are a lot of regrets before that.
It was a 2-run homer. The Red Sox still had a 1-run lead, but there was something about, something about that home run that made you wonder, uh-oh, has the bubble burst? Is winter really going to come now? Because we've held it off for so long. Is it really going to get to be wintertime?
The Reds were able to scratch across a run in the 7th and came into the 9th with the game tied and a championship within reach.
There's a looper, may drop. It's in for a hit. Here comes the throw to third. Rose hits the dirt, he's safe, and there goes Morgan down to second. And the Reds have the lead 4-3.
The Big Red Machine had completed their comeback, and with 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 9th, it was clear the magic for the Sox had run out.
There's a high fly ball. It should be all over. Geronimo's under it, and Cincinnati has won the World Championship, beating the Boston Red Sox 4-3. the Reds win it in Fenway Park.
I remember sitting in my locker and I had no idea how to react because I'd never lost before them.
But for fans of the game of baseball, this World Series had no loser.
Here's the Cincinnati locker room.
The loss of the 1975 World Series was bittersweet for the Boston Red Sox and left most fans to wonder, what if? What if Jim Rice had played?
If you look at the numbers that your left fielder put up, I think I would have made a difference.
What if Larry Barnett called batter interference?
If he'd have kept going, you know, would have been a clean play.
What if Bill Lee never threw the eephus pitch?
If we turn the double play, I don't throw that pitch.
Baseball is filled with what ifs. The what ifs don't matter, given the context and the nature and the history of the series itself. I mean, the series itself will stand forever.
I couldn't have had more fun at 23 years old playing in a World Series and the 6th game. And I felt in the 7th game. The 7th game, you know, I hate being a bridesmaid, but I don't think there was a real loser.
Red Sox didn't really lose. Baseball won. Sports won.
I think the 75 World Series brought baseball back.
Everybody was talking about it. Wherever you went, that's all they talked about was that series.
But everyone that you talk to probably have said in that era, that's the best series I've ever watched.
You know, there probably been some series that have been played that were as good, but none better. None better.
The 1975 World Series was one for the ages, and in Boston, it will always be looked at as a success story. One that was captured by the signature moment of Carlton Fisk willing the Red Sox to victory.
There it goes, the long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
Most people don't realize this, but the Red Sox won that series 3-4, and I'm not sure a lot of people know that.
Red Sox win it 7-6 in 12 innings. And Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
But if you go to Cincinnati, they don't talk about Carlton Fisk's home run. They say that was one of our world championships.
And in Game 7, I hit a ball to center field that would have been a grand slam, and Geronimo ran back and caught it. We would have had a 7-0 lead. People don't remember that either. If I'd hit it, if I'd been a little later on the fastball that Billingham hit through that I hit, if I'd just been a micro fraction a little bit later, I had a grand slam. The wind had been blowing out as it had been most of the series. That ball's a frickin' dinger, and then we ain't having this conversation.